Hey guys, what's going on? Jacob with Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors. Hope everybody's having a great kickoff to the work week. A short week this week, which is pretty cool because we have Christmas Eve and Christmas coming up towards the end of the week. And today I'm chilling at home. We got the fire going. We have a dreary day here in Louisiana today. Temperatures in about mid 40s for most of the morning, and I'm just getting back from a hunt that I made this morning with a good buddy of mine that I haven't had an opportunity to hunt with in several years. So really had a good time catching up with him. But just wanted to recap over the last couple of days what we saw in the field. The second split opened up here in Louisiana on Saturday. We were not able to hunt on Saturday, so our first hunt that we made was yesterday. And we went out to the marshes, headed back to the marshes because we had a lot of success during the first split. And it was holding quite a bit of ducks in the marshes compared to the timber spots that we normally hunt. So we made a trip down to the marsh yesterday, and the conditions were really, really tough yesterday as far as having to fight the winds. It's funny, as waterfowl hunters, we always want some kind of wind pumping, especially down here in Louisiana, whether you're on the coast, you're in the timber. You always want that wind kind of blowing to be able to give you some movement of those decoys. As waterfowl hunters, that's what we all strive for. The flip side of that coin is that sometimes it could be almost too much if you get a big front that's scheduled to blow in and you catch it right when that front's coming through, which was the case yesterday. We had high winds. And if you know anything about the coastal marshes, wherever you are and you hunt any kind of coastal marshes, you know that if the wind comes through with a big front like that, it could get very strong. And yesterday, it damn near seemed like we were hitting some pretty high winds. It was enough to blow over the cane that we were using for our blind. And it was something that we had to battle. Even the ducks were trying to battle it yesterday. So we had a good setup yesterday. We put out about a dozen or so decoys, scaled it back as compared to the first split. Didn't put out any kind of motion decoys as far as flappers or pulsators. None of that type of stuff because we had such a strong wind. We really didn't feel like we needed it. So we put up, a traditional decoy spread. We matched what birds we had been killing first split and ended the first split with. So we had a combination of some pintail. We had mallards, gadwall. We had some coots that we put out in the decoy spread yesterday. And of course, teal, because we had first split, we had a good bit of teal that were down in where the areas we were hunting. So we matched that to our decoy spread yesterday. And we had an opportunity early on. I was hunting with my son and also one of his friends. That's his first time ever duck hunting. So it was good to get him out and enjoy what we get to experience on a regular basis. So that was pretty awesome. But we had some opportunities that we did not capitalize on a few birds, but overall we had a very good hunt. There were lots of birds still moving. A lot of the species that we had planned for, we were able to see. We saw some mallards, we saw some gadwall, we saw one pintail, not any big groups of pintail yesterday, but teal was the name of the game once again. And to be honest with you guys, the teal have really saved our ass throughout this season. And that's always something that you can help fill a strap with if you got good numbers of teal. And I'll take it all day long, whether it's blue wing, green wing, whatever. We'll take it all day long. At our household, we love eating teal, and it makes great table fare, so we'll take it all season long. You know what's funny is a lot of guys, what gets me is that a lot of guys, they'll bitch and complain whenever they're talking about, hey, I killed, X amount of birds today, but man, it's all teal. Or, oh, I'm not going to go down to this spot because it's all teal that I'm killing. Well, in our group, I promise you, we will not turn down some teal, whether it's green wing or blue wing, like I mentioned. And yesterday we had a good combination of both of those. We killed a beautiful full plume blue wing drake that had the moon. I mean, just a beautiful bird that one of the boys were able to knock down yesterday. So that was pretty cool. And, we had some healthy, fat green wings. It looked like some birds that had migrated down between the splits. And they were really beautiful birds. So that was cool to see. But at the end of the hunt, we ended up with 9 birds yesterday. So we had a 9 teal that we took home. We put on the strap yesterday. And today, it was a different scenario. It was a different story. We had less wind today, but we had rain scheduled to move into the area. Like I mentioned, I called up one of my buddies. I said, hey, let's make a trip out, to the marsh. Let's go make a hunt. I know we haven't had an opportunity to get together with everything that life brings with kids and, having babies, all that type of stuff, and just get together and have a good time. So that's what we did. And today, right from the get-go, I told them early this morning, I said the conditions look like it'd be perfect for duck hunting weather. We had misty rain, a good wind blowing, even though it wasn't as strong as yesterday. We had a good wind blowing, and it just seemed like it was good duck hunting weather, to be honest with you. Cloudy, no sun expected today, more rain to move in this afternoon. But from the get-go this morning, guys, wasn't a whole lot of movement going on. Your shorebirds, all that type of stuff, all your coastal marsh birds that you typically see move early on were not moving this morning. And guess what? Neither were the ducks. At least for us, where we were in our area. We have been seeing birds throughout the whole first split. You usually see something all day long pretty much while you're hunting, whether it's singles, whether it's pairs, or those days where it's real good, you'll get your bigger groups of birds. This morning, that was not the case. Like I said, not hardly any kind of species of birds moving this morning. We got to the launch this morning, we saw probably 5 or 6 hunters on a Monday, which kind of surprised me. But then again, it is a holiday week, so a lot of guys may be off of work. I can tell you that we did not hear a whole lot of shooting. Not that we had any pressure directly around us, but we were close enough to other hunters where they hunt to be able to hear some shots this morning, and there was not a lot of shots going on around us. So not making any excuses. We not like we missed any opportunities this morning, but there just wasn't a whole lot of birds flying for us. And some days that's how it goes. But we ended up today, we had 1 teal, 1 blue-winged drake teal, another beautiful drake that came in on us, and we were able to get it right away. So that was nice to give my buddy who hadn't duck hunted in a couple of years an opportunity to pull up at first and take a shot and knock that bird down, and he got to do that. So that was cool. I'm glad he got to at least shoot and get him one. But not a lot of birds. That's just the way it goes sometimes. It did keep our streak alive. We haven't scratched, so that's a good thing. And hopefully we can continue that streak and improve. What I did notice today and yesterday, and I mentioned this to Jackson yesterday, is, we were hunting an open water area, kind of a big marsh pond is what it was. And I did tell him that I noticed, like yesterday, the mallards, a little bit of gadwall we saw. Some of your bigger puddle ducks didn't seem to be wanting to utilize the open water area ponds, the big open water. They were looking for those potholes down in the marsh, those little small potholes. They wanted stuff that they could, make a pass and they would just dive down into it and kind of just rest and load for the remainder of the time. We saw a lot of birds, singles and pairs, do that yesterday. And then today, even though we did not see as many birds, we were able to see some big ducks, like I mentioned, your mallards, and a couple of gadwall and a couple of mottled ducks this morning that immediately hit those small holes, and they went down and they just sat there, and you could hear them quacking in the marsh. So my tip would be that if you're heading down to the marsh right now, from what we experienced, kind of focus on those smaller potholes, maybe not those wide open water areas, the big ponds. Focus on the small ponds and the small potholes. I think that's what we're going to try to do on the next hunt that we make later on this weekend coming up. So hopefully that helps you guys, but I wanted to at least touch base, give everybody a report on what we did and what we saw out there in the field to share with you guys. It looks like we're going to be having a warming trend coming this weekend towards the end of the week for Christmas. We're not expecting a whole lot of rain from what it looks like, but it's going to warm up again. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect it. I can tell you, and I have mentioned this in previous videos, that The most successful days we've had first split were on those warm days where you had a good south wind blowing. We got a big front that came through yesterday. We had birds moving yesterday, but then today should have been real good according to the conditions. It was in the, low 40s, good wind pumping. Didn't have many birds. Could have just been a dead day today. Might not be related to the weather too much at all. I don't want to look too much into it. But I can tell you that those south wind days where it warms up have been some of the better days. And those of you who follow the channel right here, you've heard me talk about that the whole first split. But if you're heading down, like I said, to the marshes, especially the Louisiana marshes, I'm mentioning that a lot because that's where we're hunting at right now. We have experience right now out in the field that we can share with you guys. Focus on those small marsh ponds. Focus on the small potholes. I think that's going to pay dividends. You could tell already these birds, now that we're in the second split, are already wary. A lot of educated birds, probably not any kind of fresh birds coming in, or at least not a whole lot of fresh birds coming in. From the looks of it, they are looking. They're making 2, 3, 4 passes over the decoys and well out of range to where they can kind of scope things out. And then they'll maybe commit or not commit. We're seeing more birds probably not commit when it comes to the mallards and stuff like that over the last 2 days. So they're smart. They're educated. They know. They've been around the block and they know what's going on, guys. So make sure you cover up. Make sure you conceal and try to maybe downsize the decoy spread. And motion, that's up to you depending on the weather conditions. If you have wind, if you don't have wind. I'm not against mojos. Second split, I'll use them all year long if the conditions allow. So, I've had success with and without them in the second split. It just depends on what you think. A jerk string is also a good idea. So we're going to see. We're going to have to head back to work tomorrow and close out the rest of the work week at work. And then hopefully we'll be back on the weekend, back at it all through next week, guys. So we'll give you some more reports. But until next time, if you like the video, we appreciate you clicking that like button. Share it with a buddy. And if you haven't subscribed, guys, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. But that's all I got for today. So until next time, guys, this is Jacob with Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors. We'll see y'all soon. Take care and Merry Christmas to everybody.